So, good evening. I know you all have a bio, but I want to make sure I get this out because it is relevant to where I'm going today. So, my name is Renita Garrett. I am a retired U.S. Army First Sergeant and future licensed marriage and family counselor. And so, this November will actually be 5 years of my 21-year retirement. And I must say, this transition has been a little bit difficult. I know I'm in a military town, so I know somebody in this audience can identify with me of how difficult it is from serving in the United States Army and then coming into the civilian sector. And so when I first transitioned, the very first thing I said to myself is, who am I? I'm no longer going to be identified by the rank in the center of my chest or on my shoulder boards. People are now going to look at me and perceive what they desire about me based on what I show them. And so I have to do something so that I can get out of this position, because at this point I was just like, I don't know what to do. And so what I want to do is, I know it's football season. I know some of you all like football, correct? You know, you love it. I'm going to let you know now, I know nothing about the game. I don't like it. I like the halftime show. However, I know there is something that must take place before we get to the halftime show. So I did a little research, and the Bleacher Report tells me that the most underrated position in football is the tight end. Who all knew that? That is the most underrated position, mainly because they don't score touchdowns. The tight end position is just to block. They get paid to block, so the man with the ball can move. And so when I thought about that, I said, wow, they get paid to block, not to score touchdowns. And so some of you all may be the tight end in the lives of many. You move and you block so they can score the touchdown. And so that's how I thought about my life at this moment. I wanted to bring that example to you all so you can understand how you underestimate your value. Some of us look at our role as if it doesn't matter, because why? The focus is always on who? The man with the ball. The man with the ball is the one that everybody channels in on. That's who they focus on, because guess what? Touchdown matters. Don't touchdowns matter? No one's coming to the game to see the tight end block anybody. No one wants to see blocks the entire time. They want to see touchdowns so we can get to the halftime show, okay? And so as I was thinking about this talk, and I truly was thinking about myself, I didn't want to present to you anything that I did not believe in, and I didn't want to talk to you all about anything that I just read about. I wanted to share with you something that calls you to think based on my experiences. So it was well over 10 years ago. I went to interview for my first senior advisor position. Everybody in the United States Army who is a senior leader desires to be a first sergeant. Keeping up with my football things is equivalent to being an assistant coach. For those of you all that's like, yes, we're in a military town, but I have no clue of what you're talking about. So it is equivalent to an assistant coach. And so I go to the interview, I have my portfolio, I'm excited, I'm feeling confident about who I am and all of my accomplishments that I have made, and I hand over my portfolio, and the interviewee looks at me and says, I asked around about you, but no one seems to know who you are. And I was like, okay, I was puzzled. I was taken back. And I said, is this a prerequisite for the position? And he looked at me, he looked down, and he said nothing. And I said to myself, this is the second time someone has asked or stated this question to me. Why isn't it that no one knows you? So when I leave the interview, I'm sitting there in my vehicle and I'm saying to myself, okay, so do I need to figure this thing out? Because no one seems to know me. They said that's not a prerequisite, but they're always asking me or stating that question, no one seems to know you. So I'm like, man, who am I? Do I need to go make connections? Because it seems like my contribution is not doing anything at this point. At this point, everybody wants to know who knows you, who knows Renita. And so after I get done with that interview, needless to say, I got the position. However, that wasn't the last time I got asked that question. And so now I'm sitting here wondering, what in the world is going on? I know many of you all can attest to the fact that social media has now put us in a predicament to where if no one knows you, no one follows you. Who we are is no longer the going thing. It's who knows you, who are you, what can you do for me, what can I do for you, because I really don't want to know who you are. And that's the position that we find ourselves in. And sometimes we try to get away from it because of the fact that we know who we are, we know what we represent, we know what we bring to the table. However, we are not the man with the ball. And so what tends to happen is we begin to shape ourselves and form ourselves into an image that we are not. And that's what I did. That began my professional identity because of that one question. No one seems to know you. So I began to try to transform and shape myself into an identity that I was not comfortable with. I began to try to look more mature than I already was. I tried to create unnecessary relationships with people that people knew so that people could know me, and I was so uncomfortable. That was not the space that I wanted to be in. However, because of the position I was in and everyone kept asking me this question, I kept thinking to myself, maybe this is what I'm supposed to do. But then I began to think about what was really going on. See, Frottingham states that the imposter syndrome takes place when we allow our genetics, our psychological, and our lifestyle shape our identity. We allow these different things to shape our identity, and we take it on. We forget who we are, what we represent. I can't be anyone on this platform but me. I must say I was very intimidated coming on this platform because I listened to the backgrounds and all of the different achievements that everyone had already achieved in life. And I said to myself, oh my goodness, it was so bad that when I turned in my bio had 2 sentences. 2 sentences. And then I thought to myself, okay, Renita, what are you doing? You know who you are. I am telling you, you know who you are. You may step into a room and you may be the only one in the room that does what you do, but you have to own it. You have to be you and don't be afraid to be you. So I'm going to tell you what I had to do. Let me tell you what I had to do in order to get me on this platform, in order for me to still be able to go out here and let everyone know that what I got going on is relevant too. I may not have the ball, but I can block pretty good. So this is what I had to do. You know, I heard that this phrase that you teach people how to treat you. And so every time I went to these interviews, and they always asked me this question, because I told you all that wasn't the last time that they asked me that question. So I had to teach them how to treat me. I had to show up as me. No, that's not me. No, they don't know me, but this is what I'm capable and I'm able to do. If you need me to fulfill the position, I'm your girl. Teach people how to treat you. The next thing I had to do was focus on my purpose and not my presentation. I cannot, under any circumstances, get a reel or a TikTok down to save my life. And guess what? I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. I'm not about to focus on the presentation. I have a purpose, and if my purpose is for me to post a picture and write about it, go read about it. Because the focus is on the purpose. It's not on what you want me to present to you. And then the final thing that I had to do was I had to do what resiliency teaches us. I had to hunt the good stuff. We all have some good stuff about us. Hunt the good stuff. I had to share what I have already done. It may not be what you have done or what she has done, but what I have done, it is amazing in my eyes. It's amazing to me. And so what I'm challenging you to do on today is show up as you. Teach people how to treat you. Teach them. Let them know, no, I'm not her and I'm not him, but this is who I am. And so I hope on today that you heard something that challenged you to go and think about some things about yourself when you step into a room. I heard Jay-Z say this. Yes, I'm about to say this. I know I never thought I would say something that Jay-Z said. He said, when I walk into a room, I walk into the room as myself. I challenge you to walk into a room as yourself. My name is Renita Garrett, and thank you all so much.